Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and thank everybody for coming here and watching me and my daily life of why I love my job and why I love working at Walmart and my love-hate relationship with Walmart. Um, so today I'm going to be talking about, did I make a mistake? Um, so as you know, we get paid every 2 weeks. And I was going in and updating some information like, okay, do I want to um, start buying shares of Walmart stock, which is always a good thing. Um, if you have the option to purchase stock in your company and to be able to sell the stock whenever you want, which you can with Walmart, you can sell your stock whenever you want. You just put in an order to sell it, and they sell it at what the going rate is at that time, and however much that you want to sell. And so I had put in, decided to go ahead and start buying some Walmart stock. So one of the things that was a little bit confusing was when they said you have pre-tax and post-tax. I also wanted to get in on the 401k. Now, remember previously in one of my other videos, I was talking about the different benefits that Walmart has, they offer. And on the 401k, they do a matching. I believe it's either 3% or 5%. And they also have like a max amount that you can put into the 401k every year. So the problem is that you really don't know what your net's going to be, because when you opt to do the 401k, it's a percentage. You select a percentage that you want taken out of your every paycheck to go into the 401k. So without really knowing um, how much your net will be, it's really hard to determine and figure out, okay, how much should I, how much of a percentage of my um, check should I put into the 401k? Because you don't know what your net's going to be, and your net is what's important, not your gross, your net, because that's what you bring home. It's not, I don't care if your gross is $3,000, that don't matter. It's how much you bring home. If your check is $3,000 and you're only bringing home 1,100, you better figure out is where's the rest of that money going to. So you can understand. This is another part of an economics type class. Um, it's all about the net, because the net is what you bring home. So the gross means nothing. It's how much are you going to bring home. So with with the 401k, like I said, it's a percentage that you decide how much of a percentage that you want to be taken out of your check and put into the 401k. Now, if it is too much, like, when you get your check and you realize, oh my God, this is way too much, my net's way, way too low, then you can go and adjust it. But it may take 1 to 2 checks before it gets back to normal. So, I decided, like I said, to start taking out for the 401k and the Walmart stock. Granted, I probably should have done this on 2 separate occasions and not just do it at one time, because now I'm not going to know what is my net going to be until my next check, and then that might also not be what the full amount would be, because you know um, it should start immediately or on the next check. So this is what is hard, because there's no way for you to know, like I said, until you get your check on what your net's going to be. And I opted in for both the stocks and the 401k. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. I won't know until I get the check that has a full month of 401k taken out of it and a full month of stocks taken out of it. But with the 401k, you can kind of go by like our next check, which it won't be a full 2 weeks of pay, 2 weeks of the 401k coming out of it. But I can look to see what my net is then. And if my net is too low at that point, I know I better get in there and change it. And change the stock. So it's a it's not necessarily you have to wait and see, but then again it is, because you have to wait to see that first check after you put the order in, and make sure that part of the order, or part of the stuff that you requested to be applied, at least a whole week's worth has been applied, so that you can go in and see. So I'm kind of on edge a little bit, because, like I said, I don't know. And it's a little bit scary, because if I've messed up too much and having too much taken out, so that my net is going to drop to where I can't pay my bills, there's going to be a little problem there. So, sorry. Sorry about that. So, that's where I'm at right now. Now, otherwise, when I got up today, I was running a little bit late. Sometimes, I don't know if this happens to you guys, sometimes when I get up, and I get up at my alarm goes off the same time. I give myself the same time to get ready for work every day. But for some reason, sometimes you're slow. Don't know why, but sometimes it seems like you are so slow. And you look at the clock and you're like, oh my God, I got 10 minutes left. I'm not even dressed. You know what I mean? It's like, what did I do? I didn't do nothing. I'm doing the same stuff. But for some reason, it seems to be taking really long time for you to do the stuff that it normally does. So that kind of started me off on my day today, because I was like, oh my God, I'm running behind, because I also give myself time, and this is always a good idea, to give yourself time to get to work, to where when you get to work, you have at least 5 minutes minimum for you to just sit, relax, and just wait until time to clock in. It is much, much better than having to run to the time clock, and you're starting your day off in that kind of situation. Don't do that. That's never a good situation. So and plus you have to give yourself enough time to drive to work, because you never know what's out there on the road. You don't know if there was, like, you're coming down the road and all of a sudden there's an accident, which, if there is, you can, if you're like stuck behind an accident that just happened, most of the time your employer, give them a call. Your employer's going to be okay. Get here when you get here, because that kind of stuff does happen. So it's okay. Just call your employer. Don't just wait until you arrive to work to tell somebody. Call somebody and let them know, like right then. Say, okay, I was on my way to work and an accident just happened. I'm stuck behind an accident. It just happened. We're just waiting for the road to get clear so I can get through and get to work. And they'll say, okay, just, get here when you can. Don't stress it. Don't cause another accident. And just be okay. So I hurried up out of the house, and I got to work on time. With still a few minutes that I could just sit there and just, okay, here I am. I'm at work. Okay, everything's good. And then when I was at work, and the load seemed to have arrived early today. So it was like almost as soon as I clocked in, it was time to unload the truck. So I'm one of the few females that will unload a truck. Can you believe it? It's like, wait a minute. You cannot say, I'm a female and I can't do it. Yes, you can. I'm doing it. You can do it. So that irritates me about some females that they will not, they refuse, even though they really can't refuse because that's part of their job description. You have to do it. And we do have one person um, in produce, one of the females. It's only one, two, there's only three of us females. And we have myself, we have another coworker, and our department manager. Now, our department manager and the other female are good friends. So, I'm starting to realize something here that the department manager is starting to play a little of the favy stuff. Yes, I don't like that. You treat everybody the same. If I have to go unload a truck, she better be unloading the truck right beside me. But she always seems to be like saying she's right in the middle of something and she don't have time to do it. I'm making time. I was right in the middle of something when they called that the meat and produce truck was there. So you better be right behind me and help me. But then sometimes the department manager will say, we need to have somebody on the floor, and not everybody can be back on the truck. Somebody has to be on the floor. But yet they won't let me, and I'm older than everybody there. Yes, but they won't let me. They will let the friend of the department manager, but not me, the oldest person there. How's that? So, we got to, one of the good things about when a store just opens is all the equipment's brand new, which is really nice. So the pallet jacks we were using pulled the freight really easily, and that was nice too, because these pallets weigh about 800 pounds, 1,000 pounds. It just depends on what's on them. Like, if we just get a pallet of bananas that's like 6 feet high, 5 feet high, and each box of bananas weighs roughly about 40 pounds. You can get the idea of how heavy that thing is. So with these pallet jacks being as smooth, carrying and not having like, you're struggling to pull the damn thing. So that was really nice. So we had a big load today. And when we found out how many pallets we had, and I'm just trying to think, in my head, okay, where are we going to put everything? How many cold do we have? Because that's the biggest thing. The other stuff, sometimes if we don't have enough room in the hallway, or if we don't have enough room in the hallway, which we had designated space back there for produce for our dry stuff, we can leave it down in receiving until we get some empty space to put it up in by our area. Because when we're out of bananas, we just go to our back area there in the hallway, and we load up a cart and take it out to the floor. So, anyway, so I'm computing in my head to make sure we had enough space, and forgot to check the cooler to see if there was a pallet in there. There was. So that pallet that was left in there from that they didn't break down, there was, I guess, no room to steal or something. I don't know. I only worked the morning shift, so I don't know what they did in the afternoon for the evening shift. And like I said, the truck came. It's like almost as soon as I clocked in, they called that the truck was there. So I hadn't even gone into the cooler yet, and the cooler's kind of my baby, so I hadn't gone in the cooler yet to see, if there was a pallet or, what the situation was. Luckily, we can put two pallets next to each other because our cooler is one of the biggest coolers that they have started doing. So we can put our pallets next to each other. I'm so sorry. Sounds like I have something in my throat. So we started pulling the pallets. It was the wet pallets that came out first, or cold pallets. Sometimes refer to them as wet pallets. Sometimes refer to them as cold pallets. They all go in the cooler. The wet and the cold, they go in the cooler. And the wet, because we do have a section there that's called the misting section. If you guys know, been in any grocery store, you have that one section where that mist comes down. That's called a wet section, wet wall, wet section, whatever, a misting section. So that's where some of the produce has to be kept moist. Like some of the greens, like collard greens and broccoli crowns and cilantro. You have things like that they have to be kept moist. Even though when they're in your refrigerator, you don't. So figure that one out. I don't know what. Because in your refrigerator, they just go into the cooling box in your refrigerator. So why does it have to be in the misting section? I always wondered about that. Because there's no misting section in my refrigerator. So I haven't seen one in anybody's refrigerator. So anyways. So we did have a pallet that didn't fix. We did get, like I said, it was a big load. So, but we had to pull out the pallet that was in there because that was the older pallet. So we pulled that one out and we put it to the side so we could put the new ones in there. So we had one pallet that was almost nothing but boxes of salad. So the salad ball is kind of my baby too. So we left that one in the front, and as soon as we got the truck unloaded, and so we had all of our freight. So since I had that one pallet that had nothing but the boxes of the salads on it, so we started breaking down that particular pallet, and they did give me some help on that. We had to do the FIFO of the stuff that was up there, and then I got a list of everything on the floor, and we started working off of the pallet that was stuffed in the steel, because not everything would fit in the steel either, because there was a lot there, but there was a lot missing from the floor. So I just went through and I made up a list of the salads that I knew at least one whole box would go out to fill it, because the boxes generally come with six bags of salad in each box. Some of them have 10, some of them have 12, but the majority is like six bags of salad per box. So I made my list, pulled everything that was down from the steel, and I kept that list because we had the freight that came in today, and there was some salad on that freight. But we have to wait and work do the FIFO and do the salads that were in the steel first. And remember the other things that when I'm doing that, also I have to check do the markdowns, because remember, this is the first thing in the morning, and that's when I'm supposed to do the markdowns and pull the markdowns that they did yesterday. Make sure that those also have to be ready to go for Feed America by 10 a.m. So this morning was like really a rush, because we can't leave that other cold pallet out. So I had to make sure there was room. The other people were trying to maneuver stuff and get stuff to the floor so we could help get one pallet out of that cooler, so the pallet that was left in there, we could put it back in the cooler and work that one a little bit, throughout later, because we had to work the stuff that was in the steel, unless something on that pallet was something we didn't have, so then we could grab it from the pallet. So this is how we're doing like a dance here, okay? So this is how the dancing situation goes, with the first thing in the morning. And I like it because it keeps you busy. you're constantly doing something. It keeps you busy, which is really nice. I really like it when things keep you busy. And we are out of time for today's video. Thank everybody for joining me, and please, if you want, you don't have to, but share, like, and subscribe. And until my next episode, everybody have a great day. Thank you.